Caya with Standard Drywall. I'm an estimator and project manager. So officially I've been with the company 3 years, but as it's a family business, I've basically grown up with it since I was in diapers. So it's been a long time. What keeps me coming back is definitely the people. I think the teamwork aspect of what we do is so exciting, and the problem solving, I would say, as well. Getting to come to work every day, and no day is the same. You're always dealing with a new issue and figuring it out together, and then going out and celebrating or kind of getting to see the fruits of your labor. That's the beauty of what we do, is all of this. You get to see the results of all the hard work. I actually started out in real estate development, so on the ownership side, and then have done a little bit as a general contractor and then also as a subcontractor. So I've gotten to see all 3 primary sides of the business, which is cool because it gives you an appreciation for how everything interacts and how somebody from the other side might be looking at something. So overall, it's been an interesting one, but really enjoyed every step of the process. I think my family was the biggest inspiration there, and that obviously almost everybody's involved in some way, shape, or form in family business. So just being surrounded with that, again, you kind of gain that appreciation for what goes into building something, and all the hard work and the people and the different personalities and how everything interacts and the problem solving. And a good buddy of mine once told me there's a reason construction isn't a spectator sport. And sometimes the sausage is made is interesting, but the end result is incredible. And so I think just seeing that always attracted me, and that's what kind of really dictated my entire career path, because at the end of the day, no matter where I was, it had to do with building. Complexity involved in the day-to-day and coordinating all these different trades, putting a building together, there's a lot that goes into that, and the problem solving around that, I think sometimes can get discounted, if not just because people don't really understand without having been through it once before or seen it a bit closer. So I think that would be the biggest thing, is just understanding what goes into building a building and how that ultimately translates to the end product, because it can be really fun and exciting. The biggest would just be what I would call kind of my unconventional background, in that I've kind of been in all of the main buckets, so to say, of the ownership side, the general contracting side, and the subcontracting side. So I have a good understanding of how each party is approaching the project or projects, and able to bring everybody together as a team and kind of march in the right direction toward the end goal, which is the finished product. So I think key habits to embrace in the construction industry, one would be lifelong learning. There's not a day that goes by where I don't learn something new, and that's part of the fun of it, is constantly figuring new things out and looking at things in a novel way. How can I kind of put this together to deliver what the client wants, or something along those lines. So to me, I think that's one piece of it. The other that seems to constantly crop back up is communication. I think it's so key when you're working on a large project to be able to communicate with everybody effectively in order to keep everybody rowing in the right direction, and make for a successful project for everybody, from ownership to the general contractor to all the subcontractors. Oh man, there's a lot of things. I truly think that one of the biggest things is just the community of people that we work with, not just here at Standard Drywall, which is obviously fantastic, but even just all of the other subcontractors in the area and the general contractors. It's just such a fun group, and every part of it, be it the architects, the engineers, the general contractors, the ownership, all bring a unique perspective and goal to the project. And seeing all of that blend together is really, really exciting. So I love that. I love the problem solving. You know, again, you never have the same day twice, whether you like it or not. And the lifelong learning, you know, you're always learning something new. So it's really tough to feel like you're stagnating in this industry. I would say if you had to describe a typical day, usually I'll kind of come in, kind of touch base with a few different people, just see how things are going. And then when I get to my desk, it usually involves checking up on the various projects that I'm project managing, just seeing where things are at from a budget perspective. And then most often, if there's not client meetings or design meetings or anything like that, then typically we'll be jumping into some estimating, which my brother-in-law fondly calls coloring. But a lot of coloring in on the plans, and then pricing it and getting estimates out, which can be a lot of fun as well. Just again, seeing the project from the conceptual stage, and then if you do happen to win it and get to see it all the way through, it's a really exciting kind of end-to-end deal. I think again, it's just the problem solving and the people. I mean, just such an incredible team to work around, and I love learning new things every day. So being able to just kind of be a sponge and see how some of the people that have been in the industry for a number of years approach things is really exciting to me. I just feel so blessed because some friends will kind of say, oh man, work's a real bore and this and that. And I've never really felt like that. And my grandpa always used to say he'd never worked a day in his life. And he worked until the day he died. So, you know, I think that's such a blessing when you can find something that you truly enjoy that doesn't feel like work. And it makes you excited to get up every day and kind of tackle the day. A great company culture really kind of stems from mutual respect for everybody, good open communication, you know, all across the board from the top down, and having fun with it. You know, the ideal would be that work is fun. Not every aspect is going to be, but you know, hopefully overall we're all having a good time and really, you know, enjoying the successes of getting to really kind of shape our skyline here in San Diego and elsewhere. The biggest resource is our man, Dan Spicone over there. He's our safety director, and Pete Lupo as well are both our safety directors, as well as our general counsel, Lindsay, who is also my aunt. But they do a great job of, as they get new information, disseminating it to everybody so that we're all up to date. And I mean, obviously that's a huge priority of ours, is keeping everybody safe. And most important thing is that everybody goes home to their families at the end of the day. My dad took me to see the movie SWAT when I was, I think, 12. And for whatever reason, I keyed in on that and wanted to be a SWAT officer so bad after that movie. And you know, eventually that dissipated a little bit, if not because my mom would have thrown me out the window. But, you know, I do think it kind of spoke to my ability to work well with a team and kind of work under pressure situations. And that's part of what really attracted me to it. But it's kind of an interesting one. So I think I'd encourage people, and especially women too, to pursue a career in construction, just because of a lot of what we've talked about, which is the rewarding nature of the problem solving and the working together as a team. And ultimately, you know, as we've kind of discussed, the getting to see the end product for all your hard work, I think is just so rewarding, and you just can't put a price on that. Without a doubt, it would be the importance of good communication, whether that's written or verbal. I just have seen so many times where issues have popped up that with some good upfront communication would have been very preventable. And so I always try and espouse with our team, and I know others do as well, the importance of that communication, and even sometimes overly communicating, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Because when you've got a huge project like this and you've got tight deadlines, that becomes so important. And if people aren't rowing in the same direction, it really makes everybody's job difficult. So definitely communication is a superpower, and embrace it, use it as much as you can. And if you don't feel comfortable with it, work on it. It's a life skill, which to your point translates into your personal life as well. If you ever get married, have a spouse, kids, all those things, that good communication is going to be key in keeping everybody on the same page and rowing in the same direction. I would point to two. So when I was in high school, over the summers, we would work in the field. And so I was hanging drywall for the first time, learning how to hang drywall. And I was working in the man lift. And the journeyman who was teaching me was down I was yelling measurements down to him, and he was cutting the drywall. And at the end of the day, we were wrapping up, cleaning up, and he calls me over. He says, "Hey, Bobby, come here." He said, "I just want to show you something real quick." And so I run right up, and he points kind of toward the base of the wall, and he says, "Hey, look at that." He said, you turned your wheel into the wall there. You weren't paying attention where you were driving. He said, why don't you go get a sheet of drywall and fix that up before you head home today? And next time, be a little more careful where you're driving. And I have never forgotten that. And you would just be surprised, I guess, at how little things like that can translate throughout your entire life. But ever since then, I've always been more careful where I'm driving, and just make sure you pay attention to the little things, because they make a big difference. So that would be number one. Number two was when I was up in the Bay Area doing real estate development. My first project, from start to finish, or cradle to grave, seeing that completely finished and the tenants in was like it's like crack. It's one of the most exciting things ever. Just getting to see something from ideation to completed product. Words just can't even describe the feeling. So I think if you have that once, you're hooked for life. I think really honestly work kind of helps my mental health in a lot of ways, just because it gives an outlet to stay engaged and exercise the brain. What's also wonderful about what we do is you're not stuck at a desk 24/7. You get to get out in the field and see it, touch it, feel it, which is not something that every job has the luxury of. So I think that aspect is actually really beneficial for the right personality. Some people, that's not really attractive to them, but for me, I'm definitely a see it, touch it, feel it kind of guy. And being around lots of people, like during COVID, I had a really tough time with the whole work from home thing, being stuck in a house all day. So that's huge as far as what we do, and really helps my mental health, in that I'm constantly surrounded by people. We're working hard, having fun, and usually after work, go grab a beer or watch the game. I think all of that really has a positive impact on your psyche and mental health.